Good day, everyone. So today we will continue our discussion about the small signal analysis of the differential amplifier. So last meeting, we see that through large signal analysis, we can find the operating range of the differential input where we could get the range of an output that could be working siya as a differential amplifier. And we find that the relationship between the differential input and the differential output whenever this transistor here is at this transistor is purely on and off whenever our Vin is very much high or less compared to the other. And we also know that the output relationship could be given by this equation, VO1 minus VO2 is equal to negative RD times ID1 and ID2. And in order to get that exact relationship, we derive also, excuse me, the equation of the drain current, the differential current ID1 and ID2. We have seen that ID1 minus ID2 is equal to 1/2 mu n COX WL times Vn1 minus Vn2 squared of 4 ISS mu n COX WL times Vn1 minus Vn1 minus Vn2 squared. And we can see that this is a nonlinear equation. This would give us a nonlinearity. So if you want to exactly get the relationship, get the gain, we must operate this differential amplifier into a smaller region because we already seen the value of the output with respect to Vn1 and minus Vn2. As we can see, dito na part, medyo non-linear talaga siya. And dito na part, medyo linear na siya. And in order for that to be, yun kasi yung goal natin, maging linear siya. So in order for it to be linear, we must operate this Vn1 minus Vn2 to be smaller. Kasi small lang yung differential niya na makukonsider na linear siya. And in order to get that, we also define that this Vn1 minus Vn2 here must be very much less than the overdrive. So this Vn1 here, Vn1 minus Vn2 in here must be very much less than the 2 times the overdrive. So hindi ko na babalikan, but you can review the previous discussion para masatisfy ito na maging linear. So kung very much less than 2 times the overdrive ito, mawawala ito. Because this ISS mu and CUX WL here is just the overdrive. And if mawala na yung Vn1 minus Vn2 natin, ang ID1 natin nito is magiging ID1 minus ID2 is equal to ISS mu n COX WL times Vn1 minus Vn2. Nasa labas na yung Vn1 times Vn2. How did you get that? Is this 4 here, nilabas lang natin. This would 4 here becomes 2, this would cancel, and this mu n COX WL, pag pinasok natin dito, magiging mu n COX WL squared. So magka-cancel yung isa, what we have left is isang mu n COX WL na nasa numerator. Ito na yon. And with that, ito na yung ID1 minus ID2 natin is equal to square root of ISS mu n CUX WL times Vn1 minus Vn2. With this new ID1 and ID2, we can get our differential VO1 minus VO2. I-substitute lang natin yung ID1 minus ID2 natin dito. So we'll have VO1 minus VO2 is equal to negative RD times ito, unahin lang natin itong Vn1 minus Vn2. We have Vn1 minus Vn2 square root of ISS mu n COX WL. So, as we can see, there's no square or any other na magiging nonlinear siya. This would be fixed, this fixed value. So, we can see that this here, whenever we define this Vn1 minus Vn2 is very small compared to the overdrive, we can see that this is already a linear. So, ito yung core ng small signal analysis na in order for it to be analyzed simple, so we could put some things to be linear, and with that later on we can derive the gain of the differential amplifier. So with our previous discussion, we know that in small signal analysis, all the DC sources should be considered zero, and common mode sources are considered zero. So since our Vn1, this Vn1 here, is composed of the common mode signal and the VID1, the differential input, and Vn2 is also have this common mode source 1 and 2 plus VID2. Since as we have mentioned, the DC sources should be grounded or zero, and VCM is also zero. So our Vn1 and Vn2 would be left with VID1, and this Vn2 is equal to VID2. And in a MOSFET, we can see that our MOSFET can be represented by this. So if we can recall this. And with this differential amplifier, can I next? Oh, hindi na ako next. So in this differential amplifier, we consider earlier that the VDD here is considered to be the ground, and also the DC sources in this one, katong ISS nato kanina, this would be considered as open source. Open na ni siya. So this would we will consider as this as node X in this example. So this circuit here, when we represent that into small signal analysis, we replace this MOSFET by this dependent current source ID1 GMVGS1, and this MOSFET 2 here can be represented by ID2 GMVGS2 with these sources VID1 and sources may kulang, so we have VID2 here. And with that, sabi pala during when we consider the small signal analysis, if this pair is perfectly symmetrical and equal, this node here na X can be considered as ground. So we will try to prove that why we consider this node here as a virtual ground. So if we try to solve this, we consider this as our loop 1 and this consider as loop 2. 1 and 2. So applying KVL at loop 1, we have KVL at loop 1, we have VID1 minus VGS1 is equal to Vx. So this one is Vx. And for KVL at loop 2, we have VID2 minus VGS2 is equal to Vx. So we can say that VID1 minus VGS1 is equal to VID2 minus VGS2 since these two equations are equivalent to Vx. So with that, we can say that our VID1 minus VID2 is equal to VGS1 minus VGS2 if we try to rearrange this equation. And we can consider this as our equation 1. And now we'll try to have a KCL at node X. So at node X, we have ID1 plus ID2 equal to 0 since this is open circuit already. So we have KCL at node X, we have ID1 plus ID2 equal to 0. And we know that ID1 is equal to GM1. I forgot to write GM1 here. And this is GM2. Okay, hindi ko masulat. So, ID1 is equal to, wait. Okay. We have GM1 VGS1 plus GM2 VGS2 equal to 0. And we can say that if these two MOSFET here are equal and symmetrical, we can say that GM1 is equal to GM2 is equal to GM. Then we can have GM times VGS1 plus VGS2 equal to 0. And since we can say that this GM here determines the gain, right? But this cannot be 0. So it must be this VGS1 plus VGS2 is the culprit for being 0. So it only happens when our VGS1 is equal to the negative VGS2. So if this is VGS1 is equal to negative VGS2, so GM times VGS1 minus VGS1, and then it can be 0. So we can consider this as equation 2. Now, let us go back with the VID1 and VID2. Here we have VID2 here. VID2, VID1 and VID2. And since they are complementary and symmetrical, we can say that VID1 is equal to negative VID2. And we can consider this as equation 3. So having this equation 2 and 3, we can substitute that in here, in our equation 1. So we have VID1 substituting equation 2 and 3 to equation 1. We have VID1 minus VID2 equal to VGS1 minus VGS2. This VID1 is minus VID1 too, because we have said that VID1 is equal to negative VID2, and then VID2 could be equal to negative VID1. And VGS1 is equal minus this VGS2 from equation 2, we say equal to negative times negative VGS1. Kulang pa. Ito negative times minus negative VID1. So what we have is 2 VID1 equal to 2 VGS1. With that, we can say that VID1 is equal to VGS1. So we have this equation 4. With this equation 4, we know from this KVL here, sa loop 1 and loop 2, we have this VI using equation 0, let's say equation A with this VID1 minus VGS1 equal to Vx, substituting VID1 with substituting VGS1 with VID1, since VID1 is equal to VGS1, we have VID1 minus VID1 is equal to Vx. Then VID1 minus VID1 is equal to 0. So with that, we have proved that this Vx here, considering these two are equal, we can consider Vx as our virtual ground or equivalent to 0. So with the previous proof that this Vx here can be assumed as a virtual ground, then we can analyze these two circuits separately kasi magiging ground ito, ground din ito. So this is VID1 pala. And we can solve for VO1 and VO2. For VO1, we have negative ID1 RD. And this ID1 is equivalent to GM1 VGS1 RD. And also from our previous calculation, this VGS1 is equal to VID1. So we'll have negative GM VID1 RD. And we'll have for VO2, we have negative ID2 RD. And this VGS2 here is equivalent to VID2, same with here. So we'll have VO2 is negative VID2 RD. And with these values of VO1 and VO2, we can calculate the difference between VO1 minus VO2. So we'll have negative GM VID1 RD minus negative GM VID2 RD. So simplifying that, so we'll have, we put negative GM since they are all the same. So we have negative GM VID1 RD minus minus VID2 RD. And we also could pull this RD since RD1 and RD2 is just equivalent to RD. So, labas na rin natin yung RD. So, negative GM RD times VID1 minus VID2. And with that, we can get the ratio between VO1 minus VO2 over VID1 minus VID2 is equal to negative GMRD. And we know that this ratio here is our differential gain. So AD, or the differential gain, is equal to VO1 minus VO2 over VID1 minus VID2 is equivalent to negative GMRD. So in this calculation, we consider no channel length modulation. So next, we'll consider the channel length modulation. So in here, we can see that we added a resistance RO1 in parallel with our GM VGS1, considering that this is the output impedance with respect to channel length modulation. With that, since this value here is in parallel with RD1 and RO1, so we'll have the overall resistance equal to RD1 parallel RO1. So the differential gain given or assuming or considering the channel length modulation will have negative GM RD parallel RO, or this RO1 here. So given that they are symmetrical and equivalent, this RO1 is equal to RO2, RD1 is equal to RD2, which is equal to RD. So next we'll have an example of this calculation of the gain of the differential amplifier. Now let us try to solve an example. Find the differential gain given mu n CUX equal to 0.2 milliampere per volt squared and WL 20, and early voltage VA is equal to 20 volts. So we already know that the formula for the differential gain is equal to negative GM RD. Negative GM RD parallel RO given if ever we have the channel length modulation. Since we are given a early voltage 20 volt, we can also get the output impedance RO. So with that, RO1 equal to RO2 is equal to RO can be calculated. Since we have negative GM, we must find the GM. RD is already given and RO is we need to find. So first we need to find the RO. First, finding RO. Finding RO. So VA over ID1 equal to VA is equal to ID2 since they are equivalent. So we have VA is equal to 20 volts, and ID1 here, ID1 plus ID2 is equal to ISS. So ID1 equal to ID2 is equal to ISS over 2. So we have ID1 equal to ID2 is equal to 0.4 milliampere. So with that, our RO is equal to 50 kilo ohms. So we already find the output impedance RO. We now, the second step is to find the GM, or the transconductance. So to find GM, we know the formula of GM in saturation. We have 2ID times mu n COX WL. And we already know the ID and mu n COX and WL, so substitute. So what we have here is 2 times 0.4 milliampere. Mu n COX is equal to 0.2 milliamp per volt squared, and WL is equal to 20. So with that, using our calculator, we can get 1.789 milliampere per volts, and that is our GM. So we already solved for RO, we already solved the GM, and we already had the RD, so we can now substitute. So we have the differential gain is equal to negative GM RD parallel RO. So what we have is negative 1.789 milliamp per volt times RD is 5 kilo ohm, parallel RO is equal to 50 kilo ohm. And 5K parallel 50K is about 4.55 kilo ohms. So negative 1.789 milliamp per volt times 4.55 kilo ohm. So our differential gain is about 8.13, negative 8.13. Or we can say absolute value of 8.13, or about 8. So that is very small. It's about less than 10. So that's one of the major challenges of this very small gain. So from this formula, AD is equal to negative GMRDRO. In order to get or in order to increase our AD, wherein AD is equal to negative GM RD parallel RO, first, actually to increase this one, we can increase the GM. But the cons here, if we increase RD, we all know that VO1 is equal to VDD ID RD, right? So if we increase RD here, our VO1 will get smaller because it would increase. So in order to properly work as this one, para masaturate pa rin siya, normally ini-increase natin yung VDD in order to still yung MOS natin will be on saturation still. Kasi kung i-increase natin to, lalaki to dito. And this increase here would compromise the VDS here. That would make this MOS here linear. So, yun, para makompensate siya, lalakihan natin yung VDD. But this is not hindi siya nila-advise kasi in this era na low voltage na yung mga operating natin, so there are certain limitation talaga na yun lang yung talagang kaya niya na yung value ng RD. So with that, yun, we need a proper characterizing talaga sa mga MOS and other components ng differential. That is, first, yung i-increase natin yung GM. Second is to increase, hindi pala, increase RD pala to dito. Sorry. Increase RD. Second is to increase GM. And the formula for GM is, we all know, square root of 2 ID mu n CUX WL. So there are two ways to increase the GM, as you can see in this formula. First, we can increase ID. Yes, we can increase the GM by increasing ID, but as we increase ID, this would entails a more current consumption. So as a designer, as much as possible, we want our design to be as much as low power consumption, di ba? So isa na yun yung trade-off niya. Pangalawa, para ma-increase natin yung GM is to increase WL. Yeah, with that, we can increase the GM. But what would the trade-off of that? If we increase natin yung WL, yeah, the GM will increase, but the size or the area of our circuit will also increase. So still, there are still drawbacks. So as a designer, so you can choose what to prioritize and what should be compromised. So that would be all for the small signal analysis of the differential amplifier. Next, we will discuss about the common mode response of the differential amplifier.